My next guest is a Renaissance man. I say that because he can do it all. He's had a 13-year NBA career, a two-time NBA All-Star and record holder, independent movie mogul. He has several companies, sports and lifestyle and culture called Slick, the Black Santa Company, which I love, business inside the game called Big, and No Label, each with the objective of combining creative talent with original publication and production to develop and provide educational and heartwarming stories that appeal to global audiences of all ages. Please welcome to Money Making Conversation, Byron Davis.
Thank you, guys. I was wondering who you was talking about. I was looking for that dude.
You need to stop, Byron. I'm gonna tell you something. Let's go. I'm just go back when we first met many years ago. You used to come up to the Steve Harvey Morning Show. I was the producer. We would chop it up back then when you was doing those Magic Johnson All-Star games back in the day. Man, I've always been a big fan of yours. But one thing I want to say about you is that I said Renaissance man, and I said that with a lot of pride, because man, you've always, from the jump, you kind of like started this little motion of these athletes going out there into entertainment. So I'm gonna give you credit, man, because you jumped out there first.
Thank you.
And because you've had an amazing career. Because I always tell people, because I followed your career, and unfortunately it was filled with injuries. But every time you came back from an injury, you performed at a high level. And I want to just start there right quick. What was that motivation? Because a lot of times when you get injured, you can just give up. You can just say, "Hey, man, wow, I'm tired of this." But you came back. Every time you came back, man, you was a bad man on that court. Explain to us how did that happen, Byron?
Man, I think it's just from my upbringing. Growing up in South Central Los Angeles, you got to survive, right? And it's like now people are calling it PTSD. Right. But I think that when you grow up in situations like, in the inner city, you just learn how to survive. And when you're back against the wall, it's almost like you're so used to that, you're so comfortable and familiar with that, that it just becomes the norm. And so for me, every time I got injured, I always knew I had my mind and, my imagination and will. And you just don't realize how much you can benefit from having, a great imagination.
Because that's really what has driven you to this point, away from basketball, getting into projects. How does, like, say, I use the word independent mogul, in the movie game. How does one bring an idea to you? Because I'm sure you get addressed with this situation all the time. Somebody got an idea. Hey man, all I need is some money from you, Burn. Come on, man, hook me up. I got the idea, gonna make you millions of dollars. What drives you in the creative platform?
For me, it's being creative. It's being the person who always asking people for money. Hey man, let me get some money and make a movie. Right. What drives me is I think that there's an opportunity.
Yes, sir.
And to tell great stories. And stories about us. Stories about how we who we are, what we do, see ourselves in different lights. You're starting to see a little bit. Black Panther was one. We got the Get Outs and Moonlights. So, there's always been a renaissance of black cinema. And, for me, I want to be a historian, and be a part of that. And so creatively is just going back and, mining our culture, mining our history.
And I gotta thank you for that, for making it happen. Because you was out there when reality TV was defining black culture. It really was for a period there. We were fighting on TV, we was arguing on TV, but you was out there telling real stories, finding real stories that we could hang our hat on, that we could learn about ourselves, and to see that turning into, like you said, the Black Panthers, the Moonlighting, the Blackish, the Steve Harvey brands, the Michael Strahan's brand. These brands are very, as they say, general market brands. So that means that that people are accepting our culture because of the fact that, rap has really played a major role in that. We have to say that because of the fact that rap music, the same young people who grew up on rap music were more accepting. And so now they're carrying that mantle into the decision making. So I'm sure that plays a major role in your success too, correct?
Absolutely. And I think that, when we say us, it's really about us supporting us. That's why it ain't a lot of movies or TV shows, things like that. It's like we're always waiting for someone to come and save the day for us, or waiting for, someone to greenlight a project. And, I'm just, kind of enjoying being in this renaissance because I know that, just like, the Straight Hands and the Will Packers, Michael B. Jordan, all the great stuff.
Come on now.
Ava DuVernay, and
Byron Davis. Come on.
We're doing it. But, for me, it's about, once again, just studying history and studying culture and say, okay, how can I be the connective tissue to building an economy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm playing all over the place in film and TV and investments, because we need some economic institution.
But you're not afraid. But you're not afraid to be the personality. When I see you on TNT, being funny, being entertaining, being a person, knowing that's a role that you're playing because for a check, but delivering information. I'm telling you something, man. This is the first time we've ever sat down to talk, but I've always been impressed with your versatility. And not just from an athletic standpoint, because I always felt that you was beyond that, because you always had an opinion when you were playing. You wasn't a guy just going to sit over there and just go dribble the ball. You had some thoughts, B. And you said your thoughts, and a lot of people didn't like that. But I think that what drives you today. If you, I want to bring you back. I want to finish this interview. If you can hold on to the phone, because I want to talk about some of your more visionary things that you have planning, man. But thank you for getting on the call. I know you had to get your kids off to school, and I appreciate that, brother, because I got a child, and that's what I would be too. We'll be right back. More Money Making Conversations. He's still on the line. He's a Renaissance man. He had a 13-year NBA career, a two-time NBA All-Star. When the pressure was on, give him the ball. That's what I would say. Get out the way. You never see a guard out there. He was a point guard, so he just get away. I got this. He's an amazing entrepreneur, and I call him a movie mogul. When I met him, he was still playing back in L.A. He would come into the morning show booth. Steve Harvey and myself, I was the executive producer of the show, and even though he was there for an athletic reason, I knew there was something different about this guy because he had an opinion, and he didn't mind telling you his opinion, and that's not a bad thing, because I think in life you have to define who you are. Because I always tell people what you do in your 20s is what you're going to be making money in your 40s and 50s. So he was defining himself back then, and today he's on the call right now to talk about a lot of those successes. Now, Vitaminwater, my man. I've heard a lot of people make a lot of money off that, but you were one of the original investors, huh? A lot of people followed you into that water, huh, sir?
Man, I got lucky, man.
No. Stop, B, stop, man. See, I hate talking to people like him because I'm telling you something. See, I saw him when he was young. Okay, hoop was his main game. All right. But it was something about it. He had the ability to communicate. He's very personable, and he is a thinker. You ever look at people and you go, they're thinking about something. They're talking to me, but they're thinking about something else. So he's very observant. And so when he said lucky, I don't buy that because he don't.
Hey man, you need to stop analyzing me, right? Hey, you got me down pat, man. You got me down pat.
Hey, because of the fact that that's why I wanted you. I'm glad you took time to be on the show, and I'm glad that because it's individuals like you. Because people see one side of you. They see social media post on you. They see you on NBA. But I'm just telling you, this is not something. This train of where you've been or what you're doing is not something automatic. You've been. I always tell people about Magic Johnson. If Magic Johnson didn't dribble a basketball, he was going to be an entrepreneur. And I say the same thing about you, B. You were going to be an entrepreneur. You were going to be in some creative lane of life. It's just God gave you a unique talent that was dribbling the basketball. You turned that into a scholarship. You turned that into a 13-year NBA career, and you're making money, and you're enjoying it. That's what money-making conversation is about. Balanced lifestyle. You had time for your children. That's balanced lifestyle, man. You're special, dude. I will not let you leave this show not knowing that from Rushion McDonald.
No, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that, Rushion. It's I would say it's just a testament of not being afraid to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
You know, the Vitaminwater Deal, that came because I was out of my Sprite deal. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to be my own agent. And people thought I was crazy. But, you know, I was also like, what is Sprite going to do for me, 10 years from now, right?
Right.
You know, I'd rather be with a company nobody know about, get less, and, work with the marketing team to help try and blow it up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so with Vitaminwater, it was, when the deal came, I was just like, hey, man, I make enough money playing basketball. I'll take it in equity.
Wow.
Super smart for a dummy, for a young, dumb kid. But it was like, you take chances. I was looking at, all right, I'm going to be my own agent at 20 years old. Right. So I need to step out of this business of what everything is traditional and everything that I've heard and learned from my agent. I need to look outside his eyes. Right. And his view from a business standpoint, and figure out how do you master business around basketball. Mm-hmm. Big shout out to Magic Johnson and, a lot of the guys who were veteran guys in the NBA at the time, because they were always encouraging young people to, hey, man, you don't need an agent. You don't need this. You don't need that. So it's just like if you learn from people's mistakes, especially your elders, you can create opportunities. And for me, it was all about, oh, nobody's doing this, so let me try this, right? And as soon as somebody said no, it made me work harder, study harder to prove them wrong.
And that's why you're a Vitaminwater mogul. and everybody following me. If B doing it, I'm doing it. I'm doing it too. Everybody just writing checks out there. Let me ask you this now. Because you wanted to talk about technology, and there's a huge gap that you want to make. You're trying to close. How are you playing a role in closing the racial gap? Because I've always been a proponent or a person that says that, we buy technology. African Americans, we buy smartphones, we buy Apple phones, but sometimes we don't get credit for that. We don't get credit for being technically savvy, and we are. So how are you using your brand to close that gap of information?
For me, it's just about, you got to hire, right? You got to hire, you got to invest, you got to find the people who are doing it. I was just visiting with a lady who's been in tech for over 35 years in LA.
35 years.
And she's been pushing technology for 35 years, and now it's finally at a place where we can actually get some credit, right? But we have all these pioneers, all these hidden figures throughout our history, and we've just never embraced them. Mm-hmm. And now that everything is a buzzword, yes, right, it's almost like we always think that we're late, right? We're not late to technology, because technology is going to be the baseline of this world. We just don't support and rally around our elders and rally around the people that have done it and then pay it back. Yeah. And so for me, I think that, tech is it's a buzzword, but it's something that, we should be teaching our kids now. Our kids are better on the iPad than we are. So we should be teaching them how to code. We should be teaching them how to design, right? Right. We should be putting them in design camps, things like that. Even if, my kids, even when they play sports, they got to take art, they got to take a language, and they're going to have to do something with that computer. Yes, sir. Right? Because the way the world is going and the way the opportunity is, you never know. You never know what kid is going to, once they learn how to code out of South Central, may wind up be a 5-time All-Star in coding.
Hey, man, I'm going to call you Professor now. Now, you're Professor Davis. Professor Davis now. Because, you know, you got that little rhythm there right there, B. You got that little rhythm. I went, is he a teacher here? Is he my professor? I felt like, because my degree is in mathematics. So I fight for the knowledge that I've been able to obtain. My daughter, you know, she's in her freshman year and going into second year of college, mechanical engineer. Then she came and said, Dad, I don't like that. Can I go into gamification? I said, hey, you can do what you want to do, okay? Just stay in that lane of education and technology, and she's happy now. And when I hear you talk, Professor Davis, you know, Professor Davis, when I hear you talk, man, see what I'm gonna do a money making conversation tour. That's what I'm gonna do. It's gonna happen. I have to invite you, man.
Let me go.
You gotta go, man. Cause
yeah,
first of all,
I want to hear.
Hey, David. First of all, you're gonna be funny. You're gonna be funny, okay? And
we're gonna have some fun.
Oh, and you got money. That's key. And you're a star. You know what I'm saying? Because I was looking because you know it's the interesting thing about it. Women are so dominating the world, and especially in the African American presence. Because African American men are kind of like falling back. You know, where the women are the new stars. African American women are the new stars of the millennial time. Which is amazing. And so I've been having trouble finding that guy, man. Professor Davis, man.
Yeah.
I gotta get you on that, man, because you have done that journey and is still doing that journey. And the fact I love the fact that you got in that zone. You were just talking about changing lives, and a lot of people don't understand that, man. And you're a special dude. And I won't say that. I'm not just saying that because you're on my show. I've seen you way back in 2000, watching college basketball, watching you get drafted, watching you play, watching you give back. And because when you were playing those All-Star games for Magic Johnson, you didn't have to be there. That was your own time because Magic was doing it for scholarships. So you've not changed, my man. You just got a little bit older, but you're good-looking older, so that's all right with me. But the thing is that you're building time and you're investing, but please don't ever say you were lucky because you're a planner, man. You're a thinker, dude.
Yes, sir.
You are a thinker.
Yes, sir.
And you are a winner, man. So B, thank you for getting on my show, man. I know you said, man.
I appreciate you, man.
I don't know if the guy was this a show, just a testimonial show that he just wanted to tell me I was great. Heck yeah, D. Heck yeah. And you keep winning, man.
I can't wait for the tour.
Hey, man, stay strong, and we're gonna talk soon. If you ever need me for anything, contact my people,
Likewise.
and I will promote you. Okay.
Sir.
Be strong. That's B.
Thank
Davis,
you so much, sir.
my man, Renaissance man. Money making conversations. That's what we're doing here. I had to bring him on the show because, see, a lot of people I meet young, I want to meet them now to let them know that they had an effect on me too. Because a lot of people give me a lot of credit for changing their lives. But guess what? They changed my life just like he did. And he's changing lives today.